Hi, I'm Rob Johnstone from Woodworker's Journal, and today I'm going to be showing you some of the tricks I learned when making this modern room divider. Let me show you what I mean. I remember room dividers like this from the classic movies where the beautiful actress would walk...
Hi, Rob.
Hi, Jocelyn. Would walk behind the screen. But we brought it back for a whole different reason, the work-from-home world that we live in, to hide the workstations we created in multi-use rooms. This project is a frame and panel construction. The top and bottom rails are shaped exactly the same, and there's a plywood panel in the center captured by the grooves in the stiles and rails. We covered the plywood with wallpaper, but you could paint it or finish it any way you want. We made our divider from cherry hardwood, but any hardwood would do. Get it? Wood. This project's stiles are straightforward, just 3/4 inch stock cut to width and length. The rails are curved, so the blanks are wider than the stiles. I used a template to mark the shape of the rails. Then I used Rockler stick-it dots to temporarily join the two blanks together. At the bandsaw, I carefully cut along the lines to create the rails' shapes. Then I sanded the edges smooth. The key to frame and panel construction is the mortise and tenon joint. In this project, we used the beadlock loose tenon system, but dominoes or dowels would work just as well. I found it best to put the frame pieces in place on the workbench. Then I clamped them together. Next, I marked all the joints. Then I took one piece at a time and drilled the beadlock mortises. I always like to check that the tenons fit each drilled joint. Once all the mortises were drilled, I dry fit the frame to be certain it was correct. Now I need to plow the grooves into the stiles and rails that'll hold the plywood. Now the plywood's 1/4 inch thick, but I also need to accommodate the thickness of the wallpaper. To my surprise, I needed to add a whole 1/8 of an inch to the width of the groove, making the grooves 3/8 of an inch deep by 3/8 of an inch wide. By offsetting the bit and flipping each piece over as I formed the grooves, I achieved the proper size. Cutting the plywood panels to their proper width is easy to do, but cutting these curves onto the plywood panel is a bit trickier. Let me show you an easy way to do it. On the bench top, put the plywood panel under the clamped up frame. Make sure the length of the panel spans the length of the frame. Trace the arc of the top rail onto the plywood. Go to the bottom arc and put a mark in the center. Move the frame down 5/8 of an inch and trace the curve. Now step to the bandsaw and cut the curves. You could use a handheld jigsaw if you wish. We've got one more step to complete the process of machining up for the frame, and that's modifying these beadlock tenons. We used a standard 3/8 inch beadlock tenon in this frame, but the tenons extended just a bit into the grooves made for the plywood. To solve this, I sliced off one of the tenon's lobes, and it solves the problem. We've now reached a point where we need to make a decision. How are you going to finish the panel? You can see that we used wallpaper, and I think it looks great. But you could paint the panel, you could paint the panel and the frame. It's up to you. There are a couple of important things to keep in mind when doing the final glue up. The frame needs to end up square. So I put a board in the end vise to represent the floor. Then I joined the lower rail to the stile with glue. And then I slid the plywood in place. Then I glued the upper rail in place and put the stile on top. Then I clamped the frame square like this. So that's it. All the tricks you need in order to build this full-sized room divider. And you can find a full step-by-step plan for it in the April Woodworker's Journal magazine, as well as the technical drawings in the details below. I'm Rob Johnstone from Woodworker's Journal. Thank you for watching.